Well, well. Hello there to you. Chat. I didn't see you there. I did see you there, actually. I'm here. Welcome to this very special AMA stream with me and producer Mackie.
Greetings, Oatlings.
Oatlings. How are our sound volumes? How are our sound levels? Music too loud? Is Mackie loud enough? Mackie, say something.
Testing.
Yeah, you seem to be a little bit lower than me, but I think we're okay. I was thinking of opening with well, but I didn't. But I tell you what, I do have a surprise. After all those years of those Boss Coffee adverts. Ooh. Courtesy of producer Mackie. I've been saving it.
This stream sponsored by
Boss Keshite Watashi Misute Naide Onegai. Alright.
Crack Sip Boys.
Thing is, I have my coffees with milk and like 3 sugars, and I think this is flash brewed. It's not hot, so I've never had a cold coffee, and it's got no sugar and no milk, I think. So let's give it a try. Ooh, smells good though.
Yeah, Bon Appetit.
Bon Appetits to you too.
Yeah, I'll just enjoy my Pocari instead.
Ooh. Ooh.
I warned you.
Ooh. Ah, that is bitter. Oh.
Like my heart.
That's that is bitter. That is real bitter. It's
Dude,
black.
I warned him, chat. I told him maybe have a half cup of milk or something. but
It's
no,
it's a special stream. We have to go balls to the wall. We have to go all in. Oh. Anyway, welcome to the stream chat. How have you been doing? There's 37 of you here. Yeah, what have you been up to? Yes, my face and coffee streamed at once. When does TIE Fighter get a sequel? Well, it's getting a pseudo sequel. If you've heard of the TIE Fighter Total Conversion project, I'm doing the opening movie, the opening cinematic for that, which is, as you can see on the screen here, this is one of the shots from it, actually. So that's coming up next after the current film that I'm working on. I say I mean we're working on. I haven't played Armored. My machine will never run Armored Core. No way. No way. My best bet is for my housemate downstairs to get Armored Core, which she's thinking of, and then I can play it on, the living room PC. My PC's ancient. Indeed, yeah. Are they actually going to pull off Berserk this time? I wonder. Like, are we actually going to get a decent Berserk? Are we going to get one? Oh, you're totally welcome. I'm glad you liked R-Type and TIE Fighter. Oh, okay. Well, good luck making your own animation. I'll let Mackie field this one. When is Alien Monday being released, Mackie?
when Alien Monday is finished.
Oh, diplomatic answer.
Actual answer is we're working on it, and we have some logistics to put in place, and then we'll know for sure, like, final season, if not final date or something like that. But it's been crunch mode. It's still going to be crunch mode, so we'll get it to you soon enough.
It's been crunch. It's been crunch. Is it okay to ask about the Power of the Daleks animation and the Doctor Who anime that you created, which introduced me to your wonderful work? Thank you. The Power of the Daleks animation that you see in the intro sequence, that was like a little proof of concept test thing that we did when I was working in Australia to see if the BBC wanted a Power of the Daleks animation in that style, which I guess they didn't. They went with someone else instead. But we did get the job to do a bunch of Doctor Who animations though. So yeah, we did Moonbase, Reign of Terror. What else? Moonbase, Reign of Terror, and one more, but I can't remember it. Anyway. Yeah, I've seen Lilycat. Lilycat is probably the closest you're going to get to Alien in anime form. Until now. The 10th planet, yes. But anyway, so what we did, me and producer Mackie here, we put out a call for questions. And we got a bunch of questions on the YouTube channel and on the Patreon.
And Twitter.
Did I get any on Twitter?
I thought you did.
Is it just me, or chat? Maybe you can answer this for me. Twitter engagement is completely down. It seems for me. Like I follow a bunch of people who, a couple of years ago they post a picture, it gets thousands of views, thousands of likes. Now everyone's just getting like 20. It's bizarre, and I don't know. Has anyone else noticed that? What do you think it is? What's going on? Because I used to use Twitter as like my primary announcement platform for when I'm doing streams, when I've done a new piece of artwork or something, and now it gets like 10 views, and I'm like, well, is it really worth it? Obviously views on everything, but you know what I mean.
If no one sees it, no one can reply to it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
New Order. It's a lot of ads. A whole lot of ads on Twitter now. Holy shit, there's so many ads. But anyway, yeah, so we got a bunch of questions. We've curated them, and so I'm gonna answer them. Maggie's gonna answer them too. Let's get comfy. I hope you got some coffee ready. This is, when you get used to it, it's not that bad actually. I think it does have some sugar in it, just like a really tiny bit.
Well, that's probably healthy for you anyway.
Mm-hmm. What? No carcinogenic white powder.
Less of it.
All right, let's begin. So, the first question from Zerovax6562 asks, could you explain your life story? You see why I opened with this one. Could you explain your life story and how you got into art and animation, and where you studied your techniques and what you are doing / working towards now? So, Mackie, would you like to answer this?
Your biographer.
Yeah. What's my life story? What do you know of my life story? What would you say?
I'm not sure I'm qualified to answer this. I mean, I know you're self-taught.
Mm-hmm.
And you've always been drawing, but you started dabbling in animation when you got involved with what's the name again? That horror game?
Oh, the White Chamber.
White Chamber, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
And it just picked up from there. That's mostly what I know about the lore.
Well, I'll tell you the full story if you want. If you see me looking over onto this screen, that I wrote down a bunch of bullet points for each question so I didn't miss anything. So, alright, so my life story. I was born in Lincoln, UK in 1978. So it sucks being born at the end of the 70s, but you don't really have memories until you're 3. So I remember most of the 80s, which is the greatest decade in history. So yeah, I'm old, but I lived through the 80s and 90s, so I really can't complain. And so yeah, I was at school in the 90s, like it says in my notes here. I was decent at art, but it's not like there were, any jobs going for art or anything. You couldn't just go on the internet and advertise your stuff like you can now. I went to a school in a seaside town called Skegness in the 1990s, and seaside towns in the UK were really famous for, that's where you got arcade games. Like if you wanted to play arcade games, you had to go to the seaside, to the beach, and they just had arcades all along the seafront. And so I lived there, really close to the arcades, and I was just in the arcades through the 90s the whole time, and it was just like a fantastic era to grow up in, a magical time, the golden age of arcade games. Anyway, after that, I went to art college, and I spent most of my time on the internet instead of going to classes. Did you know that, Mackie? Did I tell you about, I discovered the internet upstairs in a room?
Yes, you have mentioned. I mean, lucky find.
It was just like an empty attic room in like one of the animation buildings, and they had the internet. This was like 94, 90, I don't know, like, no, it wouldn't be 94, it would be like 98 or something like that anyway. And no one was up there. And so I just did the dial-up sounds and got on the internet for free, which normally it would cost a pound for like half an hour at the library, and it was free obviously at the university. So I'd just be on the internet all day every day on chat rooms and just looking up anime and things, ancient Alta Vista search engine Lycos before Google was around. And so I didn't really go to any of my classes, and so I just got like a crappy passing grade from art school. What else have we got here? And so then I left art school with like, what qualifications do you have from art school? I didn't really have any real life experience.
But when you say art school, do you mean like standard, here's like a figure drawing class. Here's a class where you draw some fruit. Like
Yeah,
what?
yeah. There was a bunch of that. There was some really rudimentary animation stuff. There was no animation software at the time, so it was all, here's a camera pointing down at a desk, and you draw on paper, and that kind of thing. So I did a lot of pissing around and experimenting, but I never really learned anything, unfortunately. And to move on in the Johnson timeline, I worked at McDonald's for years because I didn't have any qualifications, and that's like the only job I could do. So I just worked at McDonald's for years and figured that my life was pretty much over. That's what I was going to be doing for the rest of my life. And it was miserable. Oof, McDonald's, miserable. And so I was getting older and older with no achievements or anything to my name, just figuring that I was going to be emptying bins at McDonald's forever. And I finally got into university to do Japanese at the University of Sheffield, after trying for years and just working at McDonald's the whole time. And so I got a master's in translation, and I translated a few light novels, but translation is really, really competitive. It's a competitive world, as the lyrics go. And so I just got like the occasional light novel, the badly written Japanese light novel that I had to translate into English. And it wasn't really, it was barely enough to pay the bills. And so in my spare time, whilst I was doing that, I was teaching myself to animate on like really old school animation software. And that's when I did that, someone mentioned it in chat here, that's when I did that Doctor Who fan animation and put that on YouTube. And I also did TIE Fighter in my spare time. And TIE Fighter got me noticed by an Australian animation studio called Planet 55, and I went over to Australia for a bit, and we worked on this series called Prisoner Zero. We got to do those BBC Doctor Who animations, the official ones, and that was all good. And then work dried up at the studio after that, so I came back here to England and just kind of thanks to Mackie egging me on, I started a Patreon and just been animating full-time every day since then with the money from Patreon, which is enough to pay the bills essentially. And that's the life story, I guess. How long was that? That was like 15 minutes of life story. Sorry about that.
There's no worry about that. I'm going to shoot you some questions from the chat.
Yes, sorry, I see chat going past, but I was like, I'm going to lose my train of thought even more.
No. That's fine. I'm keeping track for you.
Mm-hmm.
So how about name like 3 animes that someone could watch that maybe has a similar style to yours, or maybe you would say would be like some big style influences for you?
Project Echo. Definitely Project Echo. Macross, Do You Remember Love? And a third one, probably Dangayo, I think, for the shading. Dangayo.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's three
yeah.
hot picks.
Would you say any of these are remotely similar to Slayers? In terms of stylistic?
Not really, but I do really like Slayers. I've seen all of Slayers.
What was the other one? There's another one that it's not Slayers, but it's like silly, and I haven't watched it, and you always tell me to watch it. Oh, I know what it looks like, but I can't remember the name. But anyway, so do you know any anime that's similar to Slayers?
Similar? I mean, what, like comedy fantasy? All I can really think of off the top of my head is Dragon Half, which is an absolute masterpiece. Holy shit. Dragon Half, can't recommend it enough, chat. Doesn't matter if you don't like fantasy, just watch Dragon Half. It's only 2 episodes.
There we go. Are you aware of Long John Silver's?
No. Is
This is
that
like
an American store?
it's an American, basically fish and chips fast food place.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Someone mentioned considered worse to work at than McDonald's, and they have a pretty famous reputation online for only like there's like maybe two. There's like two locations left in the country or something, and everyone speculates it's just for money laundering. Because I personally,
Um,
it's open every day, and I've never seen a single car. Like,
we have so many shops like that near where I live on London Road. There's so many shops that are clearly not actual businesses, and they're never open, and no one ever goes in or comes out, and they're just for money laundering or something.
yeah. Well, I will admit, back in the day, we're talking like '92, I did enjoy Long John Silver.
Mm.
It was okay. It was pretty good. Um, just so people know, this will stay up on this primary channel for a bit, and then it will migrate to Oda King Channel 2.
That's the live stream
That's a live
depository.
stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you don't catch all of it, you have to go. You can find it on that channel. If you can't find that channel, just go to this primary channel, and there will be a link to take you there.
It's right at the top of the screen. Not right now, but yeah, on the main page.
And can you explain to everyone, if you're a translator, does that mean you speak Japanese?
I can read Japanese. I can't really speak it. My Japanese is terrible. But if I get really drunk, it does improve quite a bit. But the main thing is vocabulary. I just don't have the vocab to say what's on my mind. Like, I just...
To be fair, you did help me. I was trying to take a placement test for Japanese, and I asked him for like help with one question, and he ended up helping me with all of them. And it did say you were past beginner level, so I think we can say that.
Barely. Oh yeah, my Japanese is bad, really bad, really bad.
There's a question about how to animate an exterior ship to ship interior, but I'm wondering if we have some visuals later that might give a better idea as we go along. What do you think?
Yeah, keep that one in mind. We might be able to pull something up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of anime, what are your inspirations?
Definitely practical effects movies from the 80s, like Aliens, The Thing, Star Wars, obviously. Just really good practical effects. I really love when everything was real. I really love RoboCop, everything. I really love when everything was real. It just looked
when
better.
Everything was actually on fire.
Yes. Even if it's miniatures, light reflects off of it in a realistic way because it is real. It's just, a miniature or whatever. Your eye can tell when it's CG. If your eye can't tell it's CG, then they're doing CG right, I think.
That question was aimed at me too. Outside of anime, what are your inspirations? I like doing sports, actually. I like rowing. I'm currently just started checking out a Buddhist temple. I don't know. Just anything that feels like there's some sort of authenticity or a way to connect to something.
She's a real artist, as you can tell. I just draw stuff because it's cool. I'm like, I want a spaceship to blow up now, and Mackie's like, what's the hidden depth behind this piece of art that I'm drawing?
I don't know. I guess I'm a philosophy type person, but I don't study. I'm not hardcore academic. I like to see stuff within stuff, something like that. Let's see. We answered earlier. It's another Star Wars animation. Is that TIE Fighter conversion mod? Is it?
It's the TIE Fighter game chat from '94 on the PC. Well, Angel and his team have done a total conversion, bringing it up to current day graphical standards, adding in like a bunch of new missions. It's like crazy. It's crazy. It doesn't even. It's not even a mod at this point. It's like a complete new game, and so he asked me if I could redo some of the cutscenes in anime style. And I've been doing the opening cinematic. I can at least do the opening cinematic, yeah. So, yeah, I've been doing that in my what little spare time I have. Once we finish the Alien film, I'm going on to that full time. And then that'll be done really quick.
And for people mentioning RoboCop, I mean, it's a little different, but hey man, that RoboCop game has music in there, blasting away. Maybe you might want to check it out.
Have you seen the RoboCop game, chat? It's been doing the rounds, the demo anyway, and it's, I don't know, like the graphics are kind of last gen. Some of the facial animations are really weird, and some, like RoboCop's walk looks a bit strange, but it's got the music, it's got the voices. I don't know. It's wow. Where was this game 20 years ago? Where was this game 20 years ago?
Yeah. And also refresh people. What are the programs that you work with or animate with?
I animate with the greatest animation program in the world, TVPaint. I'm not being paid to say that. I just really like TVPaint.
And that's the only program you work in? I
use Cinema 4D for 3D stuff, and I use Photoshop to draw my backgrounds, and I composite everything together in Sony Vegas. But I'd say 90% of my work every day is in TVPaint, though.
Gotcha. Okay, and...
Oh, the pistol in the game doesn't sound right.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And tell the people which is your favorite Gundam show or OVA.
Well, the question is which Gundam show or OVA is the best and which looks the best. So there's two questions. So I reckon the best Gundam. Ooh, it's tricky, isn't it? I think my favorite
Gundam.
No, like series.
I know.
I think my favorite is 0083 Stardust Memory. And which looks the best? I think it's 0083 Stardust Memory. So yeah, I think I'm going for Stardust Memory on both of those. I mean, obviously Char's Counterattack looks really good. But I think Stardust Memory probably outdoes even Char's Counterattack, and that's a movie. So yeah. G Savior, obviously, yeah. Obviously. We got some Gundam questions. Like, we've only gone through one question so far. We better make a move, hadn't we?
I guess. I don't know, chat. How are you feeling about this? Like, do you like the rapid fire questions? How are you feeling about the lengthy...
This was the longest answer, though, by the way, because it's like, can you explain your life story? And everyone wanted to know about me working at McDonald's, I'm sure.
Okay.
So much blood. I saw so much blood on those Friday nights and Saturday nights with like people fighting, and like some guy just ran in at 11 p.m. one night and just smashed a guy over the head with a bottle who was just sitting down eating a burger, and there was blood all over the floor, and I had to mop it up. I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore.
Basically, you were crime scene forensics.
Yeah, at the weekends, yeah. During the weekdays it was fine. The weekends it was just a crime scene every time. Okay.
Tell me, is this not crazy, chat? His McDonald's had a bouncer.
Two bouncers. They needed two for the. Yeah, like it's all these drunk people coming back from going out to clubs and coming back from clubs, just like punching each other and throwing stuff around.
No, that is odd. Here in the States, you go to Waffle House, like the server is the fighter and the bouncer.
I've been seeing on Twitter like a lot of memes going around of like Goku's like hardest challenge, and it's him walking towards the Waffle House or the IHOP.
All right, pull up the next question, please.
Indeed. All right. Oh, there's Adi. Look, yeah, I'm on the camera. Why is it Zeta Gundam? Why isn't it Zeta? I love Zeta Gundam, but Tomino's writing, and this isn't just Gundam. This is every show Tomino's ever done, is really confusing. Like his pacing and his info dumps. He doesn't. I'll remind me about this later. I'll go on a rant about Tomino writing later. Anyway, next question. So, from Cushion Sap, on average, how many hours of sleep do you get a night? And I worked it out and wrote it down. And it says here at least 7 or 8 if I can. But I work at least 10 hours a day though. So there you go. Next question.
All right, too fast.
Well, what would you say? I mean, I don't get 9 hours of sleep a day, but I get about 8. Like 6 isn't enough. 7's okay. 8 is just right for me, I think.
I mean, like, I guess the question is, like, is that enough for you? Because I think something that is really different is that most people on your schedule get burnout. So, do you get burnout, or do you just reset every day perfectly fine?
Yeah, I reset every day. Yeah.
Oh, you're lucky.
Yeah. But I think, like, when you're working on your own stuff,
Yeah.
like, I'd get burnout working on someone else's stuff, but I'm working on my own stuff. And, yeah, I don't know. It's just, we've got to finish it. So I'm just in crunch mode every day. Hence the dark circles under my eyes and my haggard appearance.
Oh, I don't agree with that, but I support you.
Next question, or shall we look in chat here? What would be so? There's an anime movie recommended featuring mechas and bikers that looked similar to Gundam, but was not Gundam. It's probably Megazone 2-3. Probably Megazone 2-3. I think I do sleep very heavily. AD knows. I lived in a house with AD for a while, and that was my introduction to the Sega Saturn, actually. Playing Resident Evil on AD's Saturn upstairs for the first time. But if you remember, we were playing it on a black and white TV, which doesn't help when you're trying to get red or green herbs and different coloured zombies and stuff.
Don't know what SFM is, and he doesn't use OpenTunes or Krita.
No.
So you'd probably want to try learning TVPaint, because that's what he uses. Yeah.
I like TVPaint because it's 2D, and it's not vector, it's raster, and it just does everything you want. And me and Mackie have both watched The Amazing Digital Circus recently. What did you think? Why am I looking at chat? Let's say when I ask you what you think.
I don't know. I thought it was fine. I'm not sure if I'm the right audience for it though.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't bad.
I think they've really nailed it with the character design for the main girl.
Yeah, I do like the character design for the main girl.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but also I think like it's got really popular appeal because already there's just fan art of her everywhere. Not so much of the other characters, just like the main character. I think the combination of the voice and the visuals like really work on her. So yeah, I'm gonna watch more of it. Oh shit, yeah, I remember playing the Silent Hill demo, sleeping on the sofa. I did not understand, because I thought I was playing a Resident Evil style game. I was like, why don't any of these doors open? And I just got completely lost. I was playing it until like 4 in the morning. Terrible. Yeah, his characters act really weird. I haven't seen Brain Powered yet, but I'm ready. I'm ready for Tomino logic when I do, don't worry. Oh, so yes, here's the next question. Is there a name? Jason Oerand asks, is there a name for the style of animation that you create? Specifically, I mean animation that has a heavy emphasis on mechanical design and technology, and I think you'd just call that mecha anime, wouldn't you?
That's what I would say, yeah.
That's what I'd say. I think
what about for just like your style of animation? Because you don't seem very comfortable calling your work anime per se, and I do understand why, but do you have
I'm a filthy weeb. I'm a filthy weeb gaijin, and I don't think I deserve to say I make anime. I mean, I'd be really honoured if people think that I do, if they think it looks legit enough to call it anime. But I can see like some purists getting really mad, being like, well, this isn't made in Japan, it has no Japanese staff, like it's just someone copying anime style.
What do you, I mean, like, because I think the closest that you might put is like, you'll say anime style.
Yeah, I always say like anime style, like and I don't know if I succeed or not. Like, I'm always trying to make it not just anime style, but specifically 80s, early 90s anime style. Like lots of shading, you know the drill by now.
Yeah.
And,
you know what I didn't get was like, because retro has been used to describe your work before.
Yeah.
But I feel like we had, like, on the trailer we put out last on this channel, I feel like we had some like purists or something, and they're like, that's not retro. I could tell that's not retro. And I'm like, yeah, because it's new. So do you think there's a better way to describe your work, or do you think it's semantics?
I think it's semantics, I think. I mean, how would you describe it if you had to sell it to someone? You're in an elevator and Steven Spielberg's standing across from you, and he's like, what do you do, Mackie? What do you tell him?
I work with someone that works in a retro anime style. I mean, honestly, is what I would say.
Okay, yeah, but I think retro anime style is probably how I describe it.
It's Steven Spielberg. I don't know if Spielberg-san understands, like anime. It's
he'd bow to you and go, "Sugoi desu ne." Watashi wa Spielberg desu.
I'd have to call him Spielberg-sama.
Spielberg-sama o yonde kudasai. Nero Smith, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a while. And yeah, just I'd be happy to have a look at it. Just in the Discord or whatever. Just at me. Just at me and I'll see it. The Gunbuster animation. I mean, Gunbuster's probably my favourite OVA of all time. So yeah, I'll happily look at that.
For anyone that doesn't know, there is a Discord. We get asked that quite often, and it's just $1 on the Patreon, and that really does help us out because everyone's going through it and stuff, but like he has to live somehow. But you're welcome to go on there, post your artwork. Like, we have a whole channel dedicated to people posting their artwork, being able to like show off, get some critiques, and just have a good time.
There's been some good stuff on there recently, actually.
There's always good stuff on there.
Mm-hmm. So if you'd buy that for $1, then
there you go.
Patreon $1, you can get on the Discord and obviously see all my Patreon posts every week as well.
Yeah. Are you influenced by the Tintin art style?
No, but I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I like it. Which OVA would you consider the greatest, and why is it Gunbuster? It's Gunbuster because Gunbuster is the greatest OVA, and it does have good boob physics, but that's more than just that. It's more than just that. Smash TV, RoboCop, damn it! Obviously, Smash TV, big money, big prizes. I love it. I I played the game, the Asterix and Obelix game in the arcade. I think Konami did it. It was really good, and there was a really good one on the Sega Master System that I played as well. So even though I never read any of the comics at all, like I did play a couple of the games. Anyway, next question. Let's do the next question. Have we been streaming for an hour? We need a coffee break an hour in, don't we?
You still got a bit left.
Alright, next question. Which projects would you like to see finished in 5 years? And that's from Omar Luciano Lopez. And what did I have written down here? So, yes, next 5 years, I mean, definitely the Alien film. It's not going to take 5 years. And within 5 years we'll have the Alien film, we're going to have the TIE Fighter opening cinematic out, and we'll be well into, I would say, stop me if I'm wrong, Mackie, we'll be well into the mech film, which we will talk about later on.
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah.
So if you are a fan of mechanical stuff and technology, I mean, that should satiate a little bit.
It's coming, chat. It's coming. We've got maybe exciting news. Mackie's project manager, so I'll let her decide how much we tell you later on about that.
Yeah, later.
Just looking at chat here. I've never played Armored Core. I mean, I want to, but I am a hardcore motherfucker, so I have played Steel Battalion, aka a Tech Key, with the sticks, with the controllers, and it's just, ooh, if you ever get the chance to play it with the controllers, damn, what an experience. Anyway, next question from a very long name, Camille Monsecour 29. I love the way you animate, but I don't have a question ready. Maybe show us your favourite movies you watched for inspiration or something. I would love to know that. And yeah, I guess that was asked earlier, wasn't it? Macross Do You Remember Love, Project Echo, Akira, Venus Wars, you know, just like all the 80s greats, really. Cyber City, that's an OVA.
Do you have any like IRL movies that have inspired at least your sense for camera or directing, or what type of action you like to animate?
Not so much, because I taught myself to animate by watching my favorite anime, like frame by frame. I remember, before I had a computer or anything, on VHS watching the Street Fighter movie, and I had like a frame by frame function on my VHS, and I was like frame by framing where Sagat's doing the fireball, the tiger shot at the very start of it. I was like, how the hell do they do that? And that was the first thing that I ever studied animation wise, was how do they do these like glowing energy attacks? And I picked it apart and figured it out.
You know, that's crazy, because that one really influenced me as well.
Really?
But yeah, it totally affected my drawing style. But did it affect your drawing style, or are you just purely paying attention to the animation principles?
Yeah, just the animation. Like, how do they make stuff glow? How do they make stuff glow? And then later on, I found out it's cells, and you just airbrush. Airbrush around a white shape. And Zentron, yes, I've played Virtual On with the sticks in the arcade, and when I was living with Adi, Rick downstairs, who I go clubbing with every week, Rick had a Dreamcast with the twin sticks and Virtual On, or Atari or Tangram, so I used to play it a lot. So yeah, mostly the animation is mostly animation stuff that has really influenced how I move my camera and what shots I do and things like that. Like, obviously I love live action movies, but it's kind of a different beast, isn't it?
Sure, sure. It's just because we watched that documentary about the Spanish practical effects guy.
Oh, is he here? Not the actual guy, but it's Marcos, isn't it? It's Marcos Hidalgo who recommended it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Maybe
like,
he'll see it later, but we watched it together because Mackie speaks Spanish, and she translated the bits that the auto translate on YouTube didn't get for me, and that was really good. It was a documentary chat. It was a documentary about matte paintings and things. This Spanish guy who's just like incredible, absolutely incredible at matte paintings and miniature model making and doing like perspective. So he did a bunch of the special effects on Dune and on Conan, and yeah, it's just like really, really good. I'll stick the link in chat when I find it. Next question. What do we got? As someone who puts a great... This is from Paul Hui. As someone who puts a great deal of effort 2D animating over 3D models, how do you feel about the advancement of 3D cel shading technology? Interesting. Do you have any thoughts, chat? How do you feel about the advancement of 3D cel shading technology?
I mean, everyone's going to mention the Guilty Gear engine, I imagine.
I think everyone knows about that because of the GDC talk. Yeah. That was actually really nice of them to reveal their process. They could have just kept that a secret. But that GDC talk was fascinating. I think Jet Set Radio did do it well. But yeah, I think I've written my notes here that it has a long way to go before it looks totally convincing. I think 3D models with cel shading, like you see so much of it in anime these days, and it's like that's just a 3D model with cel shading. So I think the goal is for people to look at it and just not be able to tell the difference between that and hand-drawn animation. I mean, that's certainly my goal with the 3D stuff.
I have to say Chainsaw Man did it really, really well, because there were times that it was smooth enough that you're like, okay, there's been a change. But there were some times that like I had to think a little bit and discern like if it was a person drew it or is this like a 3D model. But they did a really good blend. So I was really shocked by that, actually, and a little bit scared.
I do think that it's pretty obvious sometimes in Chainsaw Man when it turns into 3D. But
sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, obviously, I really like Chainsaw Man though. But yeah, I got in the notes here that games like Guilty Gear are making really good use of it. So there's Guilty Gear, and better do a shout out here. So there's some indie animators are really like trying to take 3D and make it look like 80s anime. So there's a guy in particular, I'm gonna write his name into chat for you. So if you look at this guy's stuff on YouTube, like he's doing some really good use. He does a lot of G1 Transformers stuff. But before that, if you go back in his videos, he's done a Macross one called Skull Squadron, and it just looks hand-drawn at times. It's just, and I've watched it frame by frame, back and forwards, and he's using all kinds of clever techniques on top of his 3D models. And I'm like, damn, that's actually getting close. That's getting real close. Yes, the Rama one. I've seen the Rama one as well. That's a different guy, but really good. Yeah.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
I'll see if I can find it for you.
Sure. I was gonna say, because you're getting sort of close to when you take your break but we have some questions from higher up. So how about we get through those questions, and then if you want to get a coffee or something.
Yes, let's do the quick fire questions, and then we'll take a coffee break.
So, have you ever had thoughts of doing a Transformers anime or animation rather?
Not only have I had thoughts, I've got a folder in my work files called Decepticon that just has a bunch of reference images in it, but I've never done anything yet. I was like, I want to do a 30-second gritty kind of. You don't even need talking in it. Just what happens if the Decepticon's actually attacked. I mean, it wouldn't be like the cartoon.
No, you wouldn't have that classic 80s, like, what's the word for it? The laser sound is just so, like,
oh, I love
cartoonishly.
I love
Are you
the
going to
sound.
keep the laser
Yes,
sound?
yeah, I keep the sound. When Megatron fires his fusion cannon, that is one of the greatest sound effects I've ever heard. I love that sound. But I mean, you know, like they wouldn't land on an aircraft carrier and like all the humans just jump into the water. They'd just kill them. So I was thinking I'd just do like a 30 seconds. Who knows if I'll ever get time to do it? You know, Transformers G1 animation with, you know, TIE Fighter style, as in no one's got any plot armor kind of thing.
Well, you did do a Decepticon image on the Patreon. I think it was last summer's Patreon post.
I did. Hold on, I'll pull it up.
Yes, please do.
I'll pull it up. Feel free to keep talking amongst yourselves whilst I find it. No one's talking amongst themselves. Okay. Here you go. It's Megatron hanging out with the boys. What a nice guy. It's just like their little "Wish You Were Here" postcard from. We're conquering Earth right now.
You should leave that up for a bit.
Yeah. I quite like how that turned out, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a question about any obscure anime recommendations, but it's like,
Ooh.
because they're from the 80s and 90s, don't they count as obscure anyways?
Yeah, but I mean, then you've got obscure, and then you've got obscure, like Birth. Everyone should see Birth. It's not the first OVA ever made, but it's almost is. I think it's like the second or third, and it's fantastic. So Birth chat. If you want to get an obscure anime, Birth is fantastic. And you know, stuff like Green Legend Ran by Pioneer. It's got some really, really nice character animation in it, like some super solid animation.
I mean, yeah, that was a big deal even when it came out at its time.
Really?
I remember hearing a lot about it, seeing it in when I'd go to my little anime hurricane store and I'd get the magazines, not knowing what the hell it said inside. But I saw plenty of articles on that.
Yeah, I didn't watch it at the time because it looked. You know, when you saw a Mega Drive game, you saw a still image of a Mega Drive game in a computer games magazine, and you were like, this doesn't look very good. But then when you saw it moving, you're like, holy shit, that's fantastic, actually. Well, Green Legend Ran was like that for me. Like, it didn't look very good in stills, but when you see it moving, it's so fluid. It's just so ridiculously fluid.
Also, because we were talking about this the other day, just ourselves, how doing scary or horror
Yes
is really hard in animation. But have you watched anything pre-2000s that you thought was scariest?
Me?
Yeah, you.
Or chat? No,
you. It's a question to you.
Pre-2000s that I thought was scary, like animation.
Uh-huh.
I do remember, and people my age who are from the UK will remember this as well. In the 90s, when there was the big manga video boom, Channel 4, we had 4 channels on TV at the time. That's how long ago this is. And Channel 4 did a deal with Manga Video where they would, at 3 in the morning, really late on Saturdays, they used to show some anime, And one of the things they showed really late when everyone was in bed was Tokyo Babylon, 2-part OVA, Studio Clamp. And I remember the second episode being about like the serial killer who's killing people on the subway. On the subway, it's kind of like Midnight Meat Train, well before Midnight Meat Train. And I do remember it being really, really unsettling and thinking, I'm not actually scared, but I am very unsettled. And I think I need to watch it again to be sure, but I think it was just the sound and the use of still shots. And I mean, it's Clamp, so there's just like pure black shadows everywhere. It looks really, I don't know, I need to watch it again, but I do remember that being one thing that I thought, this is actually kind of spooky, actually.
It's crazy because Clamp is a style that people used to underestimate for being like, just overly shoujo.
Overly,
cutesy.
yeah. But I mean, Clamp have always been really dark though, haven't they? Like, there's always, like, they draw really beautiful characters, but there's always like shit tons of like mass murder and like animal cruelty and just like all kinds of horrible shit in their stuff. I have seen Rawhead Rex actually, and I've read the short story in Books of Blood, and obviously the story's better, but I think the film's pretty good for what it is. Actually, it does have the Clamp noodle bodies. What's this? Oh, thank you, Ink Dragon, for that $2 towards the coffee fund. Well, the sandwich fund. But yeah, chat, have you seen anything animated? Doesn't even have to be Japanese. Have you seen anything animated that actually scared you or, made you like, oof, yeah, that's a bit spooky? Maybe I'll leave that question hanging whilst I go and get a coffee.
Okay. We still have like 2 more questions if you don't mind answering them.
Yeah, go for it. Helsing's not scary. Helsing's awesome. Anyway, go ahead.
Sure. If you've experimented in animating or story ideas on a bio-armor or symbiotic suit like Guyver or Venom.
Guyver.
Should I answer that one for you?
Oh, I love Guyver. Yes, feel free.
Has he? Yes. But watch out for it near the end of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the answer we can give at the moment.
I have done a not organic like Guyver, more like a Masami Obari, Bubblegum Crisis style suit up animation for a certain animation people, which I can't talk about really, but when it's out I will talk about it, so look forward to that, I guess.
Okay, 2 questions and we'll take a break. Where was it? There was something about, there you go. Have you ever heard of something called Neko Sugar Girls?
Yes, and no, it wasn't an influence on my style.
Okay, I'll leave it at that. And whatchamacallit, 99 Flake. Is it still 99?
I mean, it was called 99 Flake because it was 99 pence.
Right.
And I imagine now it's probably about £5 at least. Like, I very much doubt a flake is still 99p.
Yeah, that was my question, because I remember, this was like pre-COVID, but I did have a 99 Flake ice cream, and I was tricked by that. I thought it was going to be 99.
How much was it?
It must have been
outside just saying it's £2.50 here.
Yeah, when I had it, it was 2.
Well, that's just. Why don't they just change the name then? Because it's like the Pound Shop. It's like Poundland over in the UK, and nothing in there is a pound anymore. 200 Flake, yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm gonna go and get a coffee. Should I put the ads on? Do you want the coffee ads?
Might as well.
Yeah? Okay. Hold on though, it'll turn my mic off, but you can still... You can still talk if you want, Mackie, but...
Yeah, or I can just let the ads roll.
I think the ads will probably... You won't hear them, but the ads will be talking over you if you try and talk.
That's fine.
Okay, I'll be back. And feel free to go and get a coffee as well, chat. I recommend Boss. Suntory Boss is the boss of them all. And I'll see you in a moment.
A very special cup of coffee. A new standard in richness. A new standard in pureness. Blended together to give a new standard in smooth. The Gold Blend standard. Only from Nescafe.
It's only memories of Earth and the rich smell of this coffee that keeps my spirits up. Coffee. At least we'll reach our destination soon. Coffee. You make a fine cup of coffee. You've made my day.
You taking your coffee break now, Alan?
Yeah, that's right. You want some? Coffee. And I had to go make coffee for two. Hurry up, would you? My coffee's starting to cool off. Coffee, my salvation from my day-to-day drudgery. Coffee. A little bitter, but still an excellent blend.
Boy, you should switch to decaf.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and I've run out of coffee.
Come in.
Thank you.
Will Gold Blend be too good for your guests?
Oh, I think they could get used to it.
It's a very sophisticated coffee.
They have very sophisticated taste.
Do they?
Yes. Well, I must be getting back.
Now, golden roasted, richer, smoother, Nescafe Gold Blend.
Have you met your new neighbor yet?
Oh, I've popped in for coffee.
Come on, Dad.
You're playing Vicky, not Andre Agassi.
Don't be so sure.
Agassi.
Hi, call me Andre.
Nescafe, Andre?
You bet. Nescafe sure is coffee at its best. That's the best thing served to me all week. Who's up for doubles?
Yeah! The best days are Nescafe days.
今結構忙しいんだろ？そういえば例の歌の歌詞はでき…
私はあなたが好き。
Days looking new and bright, and you're gonna start it right. Folger's starting to brew, the aroma's calling you. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Mornings are brighter with mountain-grown Folgers because mountain-grown coffee has more enticing aroma than any other kind.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Please enjoy this footage of velvety smooth beans, followed by a well-shot close-up of a hot brown liquid that's brewed by mixing heated water.
All over the world, the word for great coffee flavor is Nescafe.
We're the world's favorite brand of instant coffees.
In America, Nescafe's great flavor comes two ways.
We're the world's best-selling too.
Nescafe Regular in the red label.
If Nescafe can please the whole wide world.
And now Nescafe Decaffeinated in the green label.
We can sure please you.
Same kind of flavor. Nescafe Regular, Nescafe Decaffeinated. What's your pleasure?
お嬢さん方を応接室に。
はい。
美味しいコーヒーを入れましょうかね。美味しいコーヒーができましたよ。
I only showed you that to remind you you desperately need your fix.
男の温度が上がった。
飲んで飲んでまた飲みたい缶入りコーヒーウエスト
Go west.
いつもそばにいてね
ボス私のそばにいてねボス決して私見捨てないでお願いボス I can't live without you boss I can't live without you
ボスいつもそばにいてねボス私のそばにいてねボス決して私見捨てないでお願いBoss, I can't live without you. Boss, I can't live without you.
A very special cup of coffee, a new standard in richness, a new standard in pureness, blended together to give a new standard in smooth. The Gold Blend standard, only from Nescafe.
It's only memories of Earth and the rich smell of this coffee that keeps my spirits up. Coffee. At least we'll reach our destination soon.
I'm back.
Coffee.
Oh!
Very special cup of
Oh
coffee.
no, what happened?
Standard in richness,
Okay, let me just check
a new standard
something.
in pureness, blended together to give a new standard.
We're
in
okay.
smooth.
We're still
The
streaming.
Gold Blend standard. Only
I
from
pressed the wrong button. Whew. I pressed the wrong button, but we're back. Okay, what did I miss?
Some people are saying that they want to know the age group in chat. I feel out of place. So I think they need you to use some Gen Z slang.
Some Gen Z slang?
Yup. You gotta make him feel comfortable.
I'd need to have one of those cauliflower hairstyles and say no cap for real and shit like that, wouldn't I?
I've never heard it called cauliflower hair.
A cauliflower hairstyle, and I'll be like, this coffee is bussing for real. On God. No cap. It's okay, chat. I was just reaching for my tablet there, because I'm so used to animating on stream. No animation today, we're answering questions. Shall we continue with the questions, or have we got anything from chat?
What's happening with Monday?
What's happening with... What is happening, Mackie?
It's still happening. That's what's happening.
And it's more than happening. It's going very well, actually.
Yeah.
It's going very well. I don't want to say too much, though. Alright, next question. Serious question from D. Amerson or Amerson? Not sure. Serious question. What advice would you give to someone who wants to make their own animated short film? And what would you do differently, and or what have you learned since your Star Wars animated film? A good question. Let me pull up my notes, because I thought about this and wrote some notes down. So I think that TIE Fighter did well because at the time it was released, I released it at like a really perfect time through no skill of my own. It just was really good luck or a blessing from on high. So at the time it was all prequel stuff. Like it was just all Star Wars prequel stuff. It was all clone troopers, and people, like a lot of people, were really starved for Empire era stuff. They wanted to see TIE fighters, they wanted to see Star Destroyers, and so I released this thing and people were like, oh okay, no, this is our TIE fighter fix. And so that was really good timing, and in addition to that it was also anime style, which hadn't been seen before. And so my advice about making your own animated short film, this is just from my experience, so take it or leave it, but I would say try and find something first to make your name with. So something that people are starved for, and that they're not being given by any of the big studios. So, you know, for me it was TIE Fighters. For you it could be, I don't know, like Transformers, that actually feels like Transformers, for instance, which would be amazing. Like imagine Transformers that isn't Michael Bay. Astounding. Or like yeah, another one, Terminator Future War. Like everyone watches Terminator 2 and goes, I want to see that future with, you know, the purple lasers and the really dark blue sky and the skulls everywhere. And then Hollywood obviously did a film about the Terminator Future War, and it was in a desert in the daytime. No one was firing purple lasers. It's like, well, what's the point? So you could do that. Like there's so much stuff, because studios are so stupid and they just don't have a clue what they're doing, it seems. And their one mandate is, we'll take this thing and we'll change it. We'll change it as much as we possibly can. No one will wear the same costumes. No one will have the same personalities. Like, so it's actually really easy to find a bunch of things that people want to see, and studios aren't ever going to do it. They're never, like, you know, they're never going to do Fantastic Four, for instance. They're never going to do Fantastic Four that isn't shit. So you could do, for the Marvel crowd, you could do an animated movie of, even if it's just 10 minutes long, of Fantastic Four, where Doctor Doom actually looks like Doctor Doom, and people would be all over it. So that would be my thing. And what would you do differently? I would have monetized TIE Fighter. I would have monetized it. I had no idea that it was going to get millions of views.
But to be fair, like, you didn't go into it saying, I'm going to do some marketing research to see what everyone wants to... Like, you just did something because it's what you wanted, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, part of that answer, I think, could be whatever you really want to see. Just go for it. And from what I've noticed, you can plan and you can market research all you want, but sometimes it really just is luck, or really understanding that there's something you really want to do, and you know some other people want to do it, or want to see it rather, and they just share it to people that also like it. And sometimes that's just how it is. But as long as you do what you want to do, you'll be happy with it regardless what the result is.
Yeah, I mean, that is an important point, actually. A good point. That if you're doing an animated film by yourself, which I assume you are, it's going to be by yourself, so it's probably going to take a while. And the hardest thing about any project is actually finishing it. Starting a project is easy, but actually doing the whole thing and finishing it is hard. And so it has to be something that you're really interested in. Like it has to be something that you are really interested in yourself, or you'll never get through it otherwise. So pick something that you want to do. Yeah. What do you think, chat? There's a good one. Alien vs Predator anime based on the old Dark Horse comics. Yeah, no one's done that. There's so many. I mean, this is just pop culture stuff. Like, this is just fan film territory. But there's so much that you can do that people want to see, and a studio is just not going to give them. So, yeah. Next question. Mackie, next question?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah? Alright, let's see. So, from Omar Luciano Lopez, which projects would you like to see finished in 5 years? Hold on, haven't we had this one already? Did I already answer that? I did! Well, Omar gets his question twice. Okay, next question. Do you find, this is from Ye Old account, Ye Oldie account, no doubt this particular individual spends every weekend at my favourite place, Medieval Times. When me and Mackie went to Medieval Times, and it was an evening to remember. We prepared ourselves for merriment.
Yes, we did.
We were not disappointed. Well, I wasn't.
Well, I was calling for blood.
You were loving it. You were loving it.
I admit nothing.
What was your question? The Ink Dragon. You've caught my eye. What's the question? And then I'll answer this one. You better type it furiously. Quick.
Yeah, because I'm looking. I don't see it.
Are you a Godzilla fan? Yes or no? Not like not a huge fan. Not a huge Godzilla fan. I mean, I saw a few of them when I was a kid. But yeah, I think probably I just haven't watched that much. I think if I watched the first one, the original, I'd probably really like that when it was, still kind of serious and didn't have aliens and Godzilla fighting King Kong and all that kind of shit. Anyway, yeah, so do you find it easier to draw on paper or digitally? Has a fan ever recognised you in public? And if you were cursed with a sound or song playing whenever you walk into a room, what song or sound effect would you want? Let me refer to my notes. So, question number 1, paper or digital? I haven't drawn on paper in decades, and I've forgotten how. Like, if you give me a pencil and paper, without having the undo tool, I would be crippled. I just couldn't do it. I've been spoiled by digital, I'm afraid. Has a fan ever recognised you in public? No. Maybe I don't get out enough. Maybe if I went to some conventions or something, someone would. But I mean, who watches these live streams? That's the only time you.
Oh, I thought you recognized once.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think you've had at least one person come up to you in your city and recognize you. So.
Maybe. And if you were cursed with a song playing whenever you walk into a room, I'm living that struggle right now, actually. And it's been going on for weeks, like at least 3 weeks, and it's Told You So by Depeche Mode, one of their early songs. And it's just been, I've been waking up and there it is, just in my head every morning, and it goes on for hours. And I was free of it today, and now you've reminded me of it, and it's back.
How many days has it been now?
3 weeks at least. So that's 7, 14. I can't do maths, sorry. Anyway, yeah, it's been a few days. Oh, have Games Workshop banned fan animations? They make a lot of good decisions, don't they?
Oh boy. Yep. I don't know. I find that so weird. Like, it's kind of... Alright, I'll parallel it. Like, back in ye day, when people, like, are like, don't repost my art, Like, I understand, like, don't make money off of people's art, but, I mean, and put, like, a giant watermark on your work at all times. But if people share your work because they're fans of your work, I just can't see that as a bad thing. And I wish properties would get on board with that. And then when they do stuff, not, it's the classic video game movie conundrum. Like, just make it look like the game. That's all we want.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what the hell? I mean, Warhammer is such a big property. Let them make their fan stuff.
Well, I guess it's the Nintendo and Sega situation all over again, isn't it? Like, Sega allow and encourage fan games, fan movies, fan art. Nintendo, you draw anything Nintendo, try and make a fan game of a Nintendo property, and they'll just take you to court. And yeah, it's due to the very, very different. There's a good video. I think it's a good video. I think Mackie was bored by it. I made her watch it. It's like 40 minutes long. About the Nintendo and Sega copyright situation. If you're interested in that kind of corporate shit, I'll write it in the video description when I put it on the second channel in a day or so. But yeah.
Well, you have to be careful, because then that's how you get stuff like Pregnant Sonic with Shrek.
And then
So-
the Sonic account, the official Sonic account on Twitter will like post that and meme about it. Like, you just can't imagine Nintendo doing something like that.
Quickly, was there a specific anime that influenced you in the 90s UK era?
Oh, like Bastian was saying here, there's the 90s UK BBC 2 Jonathan Ross documentary was the first thing I saw, because Jonathan Ross was like a big name at the time as well.
He has a talk show now, so he's still pretty relevant.
Yeah, but I mean, seeing this guy who was on so many TV shows in the UK saying, "Hey, look at this Japanese animation stuff. It's really cool," and like telling you what it is and stuff like that. That was kind of my introduction to it as well. And they showed Akira right after the documentary, and so it was on too late for me. So I recorded it and watched it the next day, and it was all downhill from there, I'm afraid. But yeah, it's if any of you are interested in 90s UK anime scene, it is online. It is on YouTube. If you just type in like Jonathan Ross and anime, I think you'll probably find it straight away. For me, Nero Smith. For me, it's Vampire Hunter D. But me and Mackie did watch Bloodlust recently, and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
It just looks so good. But yeah, I like the original more, but I do really like Bloodlust though. Really nice. His wife wrote the script for Kick-Ass, really? Anyway, next question. From Jason Composer. You love Macross, you love Star Wars, but aside from those two, do you have a favourite underrated sci-fi show you'd like to make art/animations of, even if you never will? So you see, he gets it. That there's so many things that I'd like to do, like a film of or something, but I just don't have the time. And yeah, so my top pick is Babylon 5 for that, definitely. If you haven't seen Babylon 5, please watch Babylon 5. It's really, really, really good. I would like to do something with Daleks. Obviously that's super tricky because Daleks, Doctor Who, they are actually a different thing. Like, the Daleks are owned by the Terry Nation estate. Doctor Who licenses Daleks to use in Doctor Who, so it technically is possible for someone to do a Dalek thing that wasn't anything to do with Doctor Who. Like, they totally could if they got the rights. But yeah, I would love, if I had the time, to do like an animated series or film or something with Daleks, because like with TIE Fighter, I saw a niche and I was like, they're not giving us what we want. And Doctor Who does not give us what we want when it comes to Daleks. Like, it screws them up constantly, especially the modern TV series. It just like, they're no threat at all. You'll have 1,000 Daleks in an episode, and then all 1,000 Daleks just get wiped out in a second. They just make them look pathetic. At this point, they're just kind of a meme. And I think the only people to have done Daleks right and actually make them a threat is, I don't know if anyone in chat knows about this, but the Big Finish audio productions. They do audio dramas with, you know, the actual actors from Doctor Who and various other shows. They did one called Dalek Empire that's like, it's the Legend of the Galactic Heroes of Doctor Who, basically. Like, a super long, centuries, millennia spanning epic about Daleks. It's fantastic. So I think Big Finish are the only people doing Doctor Who right, and I would really like to animate some Dalek stuff sometime.
On the Dalek stuff, do you think it matters? Like, if it was done right, would it matter if it's animated versus live action?
I mean, obviously it would have more prestige if it was live action. But with animation you can do so much more, I think. Like, you can have... although they'd just CG it though, wouldn't they? I was going to say you could have Daleks like gunning down a crowd of 1,000 people, which we've never seen before.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they just CG a crowd though if they did it in live action, wouldn't they?
I mean, like, what about like the orcs in Lord of the Rings? Like, because they used CG and it was famous for like that giant orc scene, right? Like, did you think that was tasteful, or did you think it was still obviously CG?
I think it was fine because it's from a distance, and then when they zoom in, it's practical effects, people wearing orc masks. And then you got the Hobbit trilogy later, where the orcs are just CG and they look like PlayStation 2 people. So I mean, there's a reason why Lord of the Rings looks incredible today and the Hobbit has aged badly.
Gotcha. Do you want to answer some questions from higher up on the chat?
Yes. Do you have any in mind?
Well, have you watched Legend of the Four Kings?
Yes, that was one that was... it's not very good, but it was shown on Channel 4. So I watched it every week. And I was like, wow, this is awesome, because it's actual Japanese anime on Channel 4. But it's not very good.
Okay.
But I did watch it, yeah.
And what are your thoughts on considering doing collaborations with other animators on YouTube?
So on YouTube, that's probably the way to success, I would say. Like, it's all about collaborations if you want to make a living on YouTube and get more popular, get more people to your Patreon. Collaborations are the way forward, but I'm not sure what I would do though. Like,
yeah,
how do you go about doing an animation? Sorry, I'm sinking in my chair and disappearing off the camera. How do you go about doing an animated collaboration with someone?
I mean, it's kind of like saying you're a chef. Would you cook a meal with someone? I don't know. He can cook. Let him cook. I don't know. Like, it's not a poor idea at all. You're totally right. Like, collaboration absolutely helps on YouTube. But also it's like, it depends, I guess, a little bit also the skill set of the other animator, you know?
Yeah.
But also that's more planning, and that takes more time, and I think time's the biggest question for, or rather the biggest answer for a lot of things.
Yeah, time more than anything. Time more than anything, I think. So every collab would be more time I could spend, like, finishing my own projects. Even if I finish my own projects in obscurity. Whereas, like, doing a collab with Meat Canyon, for instance, would like shoot me to the heights of popularity, perhaps.
It would be kind of cool, like, because you're both into the horror stuff, so...
He does very good. I was saying earlier, like, have you ever seen animated horror? And Meat Canyon, like, obviously it's funny, but it's also genuinely unsettling. So yeah, it's definitely possible.
Also, have you watched Space Above and Beyond?
I have. My friend Rick calls it Sandpit In and Around. Because, you know, the name implies it's going to be a big budget. Here we are in space doing space battles, but it's mostly people in, like, sandy locations on very similar looking planets. And it ended on a cliffhanger and never got renewed, so one of the famous series to just end on a massive cliffhanger. But yeah, I watched it.
Is that like an early 2000s thing, or?
Late 90s, I think.
Okay.
The problem is, because I was maybe like 97, 96 or something, I can't remember, but I know I'd just seen Macross 2, because I was really getting into anime. And Macross 2 has massive space battles. And at the start of Space Above and Beyond, the whole Earth just gets wrecked by aliens. And I'd seen that in Macross and it looked incredible. But for a TV series, they just did not have the money to show any of that stuff. So it's just like, I remember feeling really like, wow, if you don't have the budget to show Earth getting glassed from orbit, then just why have it in your story, kind of thing. 1995, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Did you ever watch Saint Seiya?
No, it's one of those that are on my to watch list, along with Cat's Eye and City Hunter and original Dragon Ball as well.
Yeah, Saint Seiya was really popular in South America in the late 90s, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I never watched it, but I had someone describe it as Sailor Moon for guys.
Yeah, I think that's kind of apt, isn't it?
Yeah, but I also have to catch up on that.
Scott Pickering is asking, have you watched any recent anime lately, and have you heard of Pluto, anime loosely based on Astro Boy? Yeah, it's by I think it's based on a manga by the Monster guy. Monster's one of my favourite things, so I am going to watch it. Recent anime that I've been watching, obviously Demon Slayer continues to impress with its movie quality animation. Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen, movie quality animation on certain episodes. Again, I don't know how they're getting the money for this, because animators are notoriously underpaid and all dying and stuff in Japan, so I'm not sure how they're doing this, but a bunch of the big name anime at the moment are having really, really nice moments of animation.
Yeah, that's what I meant earlier about it's scary, because it has to be economic enough. And also, I think I read somewhere that the amount of people in Japan are declining for going into animation school, and the interning system isn't the way, so people just aren't really gunning for animator or climbing up any ranks. So I'm very curious how they're pulling that off.
Mr. Health here says that it's outsourcing to South Korea and Vietnam. I do see on Twitter a lot of gaijin posting their, this is the cut that I did for this week's Jujutsu Kaisen. So they're getting a lot of gaijin to work on it, it seems. But I mean, they're obviously doing a good job, because it looks pretty nice. It looks pretty nice. I mean, that's shonen though, isn't it? That's shonen anime, characters talking non-stop. Internal monologues. Yeah. Where is he answering the questions? Here, right now. I've got questions on the screen here, and I'm also answering questions from chat. Alright, do you have a favourite colour palette? I mean, that's an interesting question, isn't it? I really like the Madhouse style. Like early 90s Madhouse style, where you've got a lot of blues and like solid black shadows and a lot of blues. I like that. That's a very nice colour palette, and I especially like blues with red highlights. That's a fantastic colour palette. Anyway, what do you think about comics? Do you like them, hate them? Which ones do you like? Have you ever thought about drawing comics, etc.? Let me refer to my notes here. So it says here, which is true because I wrote it, that I never really read comics growing up. And mainly my problem with comics, as in American comics, is I really hate how you have to have read like 100 different crossover titles if you want to keep up with one superhero that you like. Like say you like Spider-Man and you want to read everything, you want to keep up on Spider-Man, so it's like, oh shit, you buy episode 11, now you buy issue 12 and it says refer to X-Men number 298 where he just showed up, and like you have to know what happened in X-Men and Iron Man because he was there as well, and I'm like, I'm not buying all of your shit. Just let me follow one character if I'm interested. And so I know that always really put me off with superhero comics, so I never got into them. And that's why I stick with manga, because it's generally one writer, one artist, and they do it throughout. So you don't have like a really like in American stuff, like you'll have like a really well drawn issue of Transformers, and the story continues in the next issue, and suddenly the artwork's terrible because it's by a totally different person. Like with manga you don't get that. Like the style is going to be consistent throughout. Like the only difference is it'll probably get better. Like if you look at it year by year, like Berserk got so much better, Bastard got so much better, Appleseed, Ghost in the Shell, they just got better and better. So that, I think that's my main thing with manga over anime. But that said, I did really like The Max by Sam Keith, is it? The Max. I really like The Max, and a lot of the Alien comics by Dark Horse, especially the ones with really good artwork, and Sandman and Watchmen as well. I liked those. But you know, a lot of those were all just one-off things. You don't have to have read everything else that Neil Gaiman's ever done to know Sandman. You know, it's just it's a self-contained thing. So was Watchmen. Yeah, The Max was really good. I watched the animated series on MTV as well. I really liked that. I think we've lost Mackie. That was so nerdy. It was so nerdy. She's just like, oh, disgusting.
No, you were answering, so I don't know what I'm supposed to say to that. I was reading Catwoman growing up, and it was hard to keep track of because I don't know, too many storylines, and I don't know. I was not very much encouraged to buy like every edition that came out, so I just got lost. Trailed off with that one.
They used to have like annuals. Every Christmas they'd bring out like a year's annual, and I remember getting some of the Transformers ones when I was a kid, like the UK Marvel Transformers ones. And even in the annual, where you would assume it's a one-off, it's going to be, this is what kids are going to be picking up at random, so you want it to be self-contained. And even then in the stories, it's like someone will mention something and you've got a text box saying, see Transformers comic issue 392 or whatever, and I'm like, well, you've lost me now. That's just annoying. You've just annoyed me. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think, chat? Do you not mind that? Because now we have that in TV series and movies. Like to watch the latest Marvel movie, which I'm not interested in watching, so fortunately I'm saved there. But if you want to watch the latest one, you have to have watched like 30 previous ones and 20 TV series and like streaming services and I don't know. Everyone wants a cinematic universe now, and all it is just homework. It's just more homework. It's just more homework.
Well, to add on that too, it's like I was just trying to watch something on HBO. I was gonna say HBO Max, but now it's just Max. I don't know. And sometimes I watch stuff out of order. Depends what show it is or whatever. They took away the controls for me to look at all the episodes. So I can only press play on whatever's the next one, but I'm pretty sure I watched that one. And I had to call over help to go through the UI because it shuts you out. And I'm just like, it's bad enough that you're making me wait I don't know how long to watch like your 6 episodes that I don't know if there will be another season or not, but now I don't even get to control in what order I watch it in. It doesn't really, motivate me to want to keep going for it.
Yeah. Ooh, Rome was good. I see Rome in chat there. Yeah, that was damn good. We watched. I probably shouldn't mention this. Me and Mackie watched Caligula recently. What a fascinating production in terms of movie making. What a fascinating story.
For research, obviously.
Yep. Ugh. Anyway, next question. So, Bowman Ruto, a regular friend of the stream, because 2D animation is such a labour-intensive process, do you think the integration of 2D and 3D animation will ever be seamless? In a sense of, will there ever be an animation that's half 2D and half 3D, but everyone, including experts, will just think that it's 2D? And what fundamental issues would have to be resolved in your eyes to make this a reality? So this is like the question earlier about cel-shaded 3D. And I did have some notes written down for this. And my first note was, this is the same question as earlier about 3D cel shading. So it's good to see that current me and past me are on the same wavelength. But yeah, I think that if they want to fool the eye into thinking that they're hand-drawn, 3D that is, that it's going to need some kind of algorithms, and I know they're possible. You're going to need some kind of 3D algorithms that deform the shapes of the mesh and make them look less perfect. Like, for instance, you can always tell a hand-drawn shot in macros because the human eye isn't a machine, so they'll draw like here's my wallet, don't steal my card details, here it is coming towards the camera. You know, you can draw that like it's a spaceship, but it won't be perfect because it's not a 3D shape. You've drawn it by hand, so it'll warp a bit. Some bits won't be perfectly 3-point perspectived.
Maybe don't put your card towards the camera.
so that, you know what I mean, it won't be perfect, and so I think they need some kind of algorithm to deform some of the lines on the 3D, like in certain bits, change the focal length on the camera a little bit to make it look like, basically introduce subtle errors into it, so it looks like it was drawn by hand. Okay, Blake's got the card details. Order yourself a pizza on me. You'll be shocked when you see how little is in my account, though, I'm telling you. But yes, that, I believe... Oh, no. I was going to say, is that the last question? No, there's more. Okay, next question. From... If you could bring back any retro thing or redo a modern thing in a retro style, what would it be? And my answer to that is all of anime. I want all new shows. All new anime shows. I want them to have the line work and the shading of 80s OVAs. It's not too much to ask. It's not too much. Let's just bring it all back. I want all mechs and ships and planes to be hand-drawn instead of 3D. Or aforementioned, they can be 3D, but I want that 3D to look so 2D that you think that it's 2D. That's my answer to that one. Next, David Ordonez asks, what are you working on currently? Any plans for a series or film? Or building your own studio? Was there ever any sort of talk with Lucasfilm or Disney regarding your Star Wars anime short? Well, so currently me and Mackie are working on the Alien fan film called Monday, which is nearing completion. And after that, we have a mech film, an original IP. An original IP, not a fan thing for once. It's a mech film. And do you wanna talk about that, Mackie? Do you wanna say anything about it? What our plans are for that? Or what our current thoughts are, at least.
I mean, it's that which has been mentioned. working on the Monday stuff, finishing that X-Wing mod opening thing that you're doing, and then working on the mech project, which was a project that was introduced when the Patreon first came out. So at least for pre-production, there's a lot of solid ground there compared to other projects that we've done. And then in between working on that, like, you know, maybe something like on the weekends, chipping away to finish the Street Fighter animation would be a plan, an idea, if life allows. But yeah.
Regarding, was there any... Wow, I can't talk. Was there ever any sort of talk with Lucasfilm or Disney about the TIE Fighter thing? I did actually go down to London, to where they were filming The Force Awakens at the time, to talk with some Disney people about how I did TIE Fighter. And so I was like, oh shit, am I going to get to see the life-size Millennium Falcon where they're filming and everything? And why are they asking me down here? Are they going to sue me? What's going on? But yeah, really, they just wanted to know how I did it. So I showed them some process things. So I think once they found out that it was just 3D models rendered as lines and me hand shading it, they kind of weren't as interested then. I think maybe they thought that I'd found like a super time-saving method or something and wanted to know how I did it. And once they found out that it was just like hard graft, there was no shortcut. And so I never heard anything after that, but I did get a coffee out of it whilst I was waiting for the interview. I did get a nice coffee at reception, so that was nice. And that was my experience with Lucasfilm, I guess.
And then like right after that, they got snatched up by Disney, right?
Oh no, they already had, because this was when they were filming the first Disney Star Wars movie.
Oh no, you gave them your secret sauce.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Star Wars Visions came out years later using similar 3D cel-shaded techniques. I don't think I can take credit for that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some very good planets blowing up in anime. There's I can think of a few. Macross 7's got a very nice one. Galforce has a really nice planetary destruction sequence in it as well. There's a few. I referenced them for the planet dying at the end of the 10th planet BBC Doctor Who animation. Anyway, next question. Matt Golka, how much time did that front Star Destroyer take? Hot damn! And the Star Destroyer he's referring to is this one. And the answer is how much time it took. A long time. I think it took like 3 days. I think it took about 3 days. Because, you know, Super Star Destroyer has a lot of detail, a lot of greebling, and it wasn't 3D, it was hand-drawn. But if you look at the lines, you can see that I did copy-paste a little bit. So I drew one of these things, and I copy-pasted it, copy-pasted it, copy-pasted it. Same with these things here. So I did save a little bit of time like that.
Right, the same thing you would do with a skyscraper if it had a bunch of windows. You just copy-paste the windows in, right?
Yeah. Like this shape here, that's copy-pasted 3 times, so is this. But when you see it, because the shading was all... None of the shading was copy-pasted. Like, the shading's different on each one, so you can't really tell that it's copied at all when you see it. So it's not really cheating. But yeah, basically it's just a lot of listening to podcasts and things, because it's going to take a long time if you're going to do greebling to this extent.
Jumping off of that, there was a question earlier before the break, I believe, about your favorite color palette.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know if you answered it. because, for example, this has a very distinct color palette that you go back to because you made your own color palette sample from anime, right?
I did, yeah. So this is from Project Echo, particularly these colors are from Project Echo.
And you have that color palette in the Patreon, so if people sign up, they can just go grab it, right?
Yeah, if they want to.
There you go.
There's let me pull up an image I did for Taito recently, and you can see it. You can see it there. One moment. Raystorm, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. There you go. So you can see the same color palette for use on the big ships here in this Raystorm cover. The game's out now. It's a collection of three games in the Raystorm series, and I believe this is the cover for certain countries. Maybe it's the European cover, I'm not quite sure.
I think it was the European cover.
But yeah, I actually like this. I was talking to Maki recently about how I don't really like anything that I ever do, but I actually like how this came out. And I never like anything that I draw, so it's really rare for me. And I'm not sure why, because it's not any better than any other images I've done. I guess the composition's better and the focal points are better. I don't know.
I mean, it is a little bit different because most of the ship scenes you do, it's like a long, zoomed out pan, and this one's more dynamic than, but I like all of them, but this one's good too.
They are beam weapons, yeah. It's got a lock-on, that was its pioneering feature. It's got like a lock-on, instead of a lock-on missile system, it's got a lock-on fire loads of beams system, which makes it quite fancy. So yeah, that's Raystorm. Here we go. Next question from Maxi HZB. In the Gundam universe, what are your favourite mechas? My favourite is the Zaku 2. That's a good choice. A solid choice. A solid choice. So I wrote down my picks. And they're not famous ones, actually, and I'm not just being a contrarian here. These are like actually my favourites. So the Barzam from Zeta Gundam, more specifically the Barzam refined type from Gundam Sentinel, and the however you pronounce the Neue Ziel from Gundam 0083. It's a Zeon mobile armor, the big green one. It looks fantastic. It looks like the Zeon logo if you see it. Favorite Gundam is the XS Gundam from Gundam Sentinel, and overall, my favorite mech of all time is the Ball, the Ball from Gundam. And if you've seen any balls, you know that they are truly the most powerful unit in all of Gundam.
You should put visuals next time.
I tried to, but I couldn't find any decent ones. I mean, there's lots of balls. There's a lot of balls on the internet.
I was gonna say, if you Google balls, I'm sure you'll find something.
Balls all over the place, but not many Barzams, unfortunately.
Huh.
Ball dominance. We believe in ball supremacy here. But yeah. Next question. Does Blender Grease Pencil appeal to you as an animator? I'm sure you've probably heard endless hype about the program, but I'm just curious. I'm just aware the program has a line art modifier and some grease pencil settings that are similar to the sketch and toon settings that you showed on your video. Does that appeal to you? So medium-sized Z-Doll is trying to sell grease pencil to me. What did I write here? Blah blah blah. Yeah, that's true. I'm agreeing with my own points here, that I'm terrible at switching away from programs that I've used for years. I'm terrible at like switching away from things and moving to new programs. So, I mean, I'd be interested in giving it a try, but I'd probably just be so frustrated trying to be like, where are my layers? Why doesn't F2 and F4 do the same things that they do in TVPaint?
Yeah, I mean, I have programmers that are trying to teach themselves Blender, and they're saying it's like, you have to put the time. Like, once you get it, but you have to put the time into it. So, I don't know. It'll probably pay off, but yeah, it's just, I'm waiting for like a really good tutorial first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it's good, but I'm very happy with TVPaint. I know all the shortcuts on TVPaint, and I mean, it just works. It does what I want it to do, and that's, as I've mentioned in streams like before, I've often had problems with programs crashing on me, and TVPaint just doesn't crash. It's stable. It just does what you want it to do, and I don't know. It just works. It just works, as Todd Howard said.
Going back to the Gundam question, when you went to Tokyo and we went to the Gundam store / museum, whatever, did you see anything in there that was like, holy shit, this is the real deal? Did they have any like special displays that you were like, I'll never forget this?
Not really. I mean, I did see some nice paint jobs on some of the kits.
I love the weathered stuff.
I love it when they, because I mean, these are things that are maybe not so much in space, but during the 1 year war in Gundam, when they're invading Earth, like, these are mechs that are like, wading through the mud, and they would have mud all over them and scratches, and I love it when people apply that kind of like weathering to the models. I think that looks fantastic. Just makes it look more realistic, like World War II kind of vibe to it.
Was it like a big deal to you to see the life-size Gundam?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
You want to go check out the one in Yokohama?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'd like to. Yeah. Angel, Witch, or Venom? I don't know what Venom from Spider-Man? I don't know who Angel Witch is. Yeah, Corridor Cruise rock, paper, scissors thing. I saw the second one, I saw the first one, but the second one doesn't look anywhere near as good as the first one. So I don't know what happened there. I guess they didn't just steal from Vampire Hunter D for the second one. They actually paid an artist and fed it using that artwork, and it didn't come out anywhere near as good. But yeah. Oh, they're metal bands, okay. Oh, right. Isn't Venom like a really famous old black metal band? If I'm thinking right. British heavy metal, really? Okay. Anyway, next question. How close is that alien project to being finished? And when it comes to time, never ask me, because I'm always wrong. So I'm going to let Mackie field this question.
We've already answered that. It's just when it's done, because I think there's nothing, and it's not to be like soon TM. I'm not going to lie. I roll my eyes at that sort of thing. It's more like, I don't know, you never want to disappoint people.
You don't.
I like keeping my promises, so I'm not going to make a promise that I'm not 1,000% sure I'm going to keep. But as soon as we're closer to it, yeah, we'll definitely say. Yeah.
Duck 2 was almost finished for years. And is that... Hold on, is that... Yes, that was the final question. That was the final question.
Well, how did you feel? Was that like your first formal, like, answering interview style question thing?
Yeah, I think so. I think it went pretty well.
You've done interviews before, haven't you?
Yeah. Me and Zach did a talk about TIE Fighter in Germany at a German Star Wars con. That was really good, actually. That was a fantastic experience. I really want to do more cons, because that's the first con I was a guest at ever, and I've never been a guest. Well, JCon, I was we were both guests at JCon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. I'd like to do that again. I really want to do more cons, but I'm too busy working. But I want to do more cons, though. I want to, get out and meet people.
But what would you rather do if you were like doing cons? Would you rather do like meet and greet or a panel talk?
I mean, it's pretty nerve-wracking being up on stage talking, and I don't have experience of it really. Like when it was, I guess, a panel talk where different people are talking, and because when me and Zach were up there, we were just kind of back and forthing with each other. At JCon, I had to read off of a script, and that was a little bit scary. But I mean, thankfully, you helped me with that.
It's funny, we're the opposite on that. Like, I'm totally not surprising because I did really well in public speaking.
Oh, you did Toastmasters, didn't you?
I did do Toastmasters.
Mm-hmm.
But with meet and greet, it's a bit nerve-wracking because there's no protocol. People might ask you something, you might say something stupid. I just feel like it's too many chances to screw it up.
Nah, as long as you're as long as you have certain protocols in mind. Don't say any gamer words or anything. You'll be fine.
Social anxiety gets a bit after a while, hoping you don't say stupid things. But yeah, you guys, hopefully that was okay, and we answered most / all of your questions.
What do you think? Another hour is upon us. I'm actually quite happy to just grab another coffee and field some questions from chat. If you got any chat, we'll just shoot the shit for a little bit. Oh, I want another coffee anyway. What do you think, Mackie?
I don't know, I'm a little bit scared of some of the questions coming out.
Well, what are we getting here? New Berserk. I mean, hopefully it can't be as bad as previous Berserks. So, coffee. What do you think about Aliens 3 Assembly Cut? Do you know, I haven't seen the Assembly Cut. I hear it's better than the theatrical cut. Yeah, but the coffee I'm drinking is decaf. So, and even if it wasn't, caffeine has no effect on me. Which,
He says.
It sounds like I'm boasting. I'm so powerful, caffeine doesn't do anything to me, but it sucks, because if I'm really tired and I need to go to a viewing or watch a movie with people, coffee would be really helpful, but it just doesn't do anything to me. What are you, ADHD? I don't know, am I?
Isn't ADHD? No, okay. There's two different ones, because I think, correct me chat, if ADHD is when you take a stimulant and it makes you feel like you're finally functioning normally.
Oh.
But then there's other people, this happened to me in the past, where I drank coffee and for some reason I got sleepier and I thought, am I dying?
Will I ever animate a planet being blown up? I'd like to. I mean, have I got it? Hold on a sec. Let me have a look through my folders here. So somewhere there's all my Doctor Who stuff. Somewhere there's all my Doctor Who stuff here. Oh, no, I don't think so. I don't think I have it. But yeah, there's a planet disintegrating in 10th Planet that I animated. But I cannot find it. I can't find it. Oh well, never mind. We tried. Anyway, I'm just gonna get a coffee and then I'll come back and we'll do a few more minutes, I guess.
All right, cool.
Oh, who mentioned politics? Let's that's a terrible idea. That's a terrible idea.
I'd rather talk about boobs and butts. Thank
yes, you can't get in trouble talking about boobs and butts. You can get into a lot of trouble talking about politics, especially currently. So I'm just going to get a coffee and I'll leave it on this screen so Mackie can talk to you.
No. Put your put your ads. I've nothing to.
I'm helping you with your social anxiety.
That's exactly why you should probably put your little ads.
Okay. See you in a moment.
A new standard in richness, a new standard in pureness, blended together to give a new standard in smooth. The Gold Blend standard, only from Nescafe.
It's only memories of Earth and the rich smell of this coffee that keeps my spirits up. Coffee. At least we'll reach our destination soon. Coffee. You make a fine cup of coffee. You've made my day.
Are you taking your coffee break now, Alan?
Yeah, that's right. You want some? Coffee. And I had to go make coffee for two. Hurry up, would you? My coffee's starting to cool off. Coffee, my salvation from my day-to-day drudgery. Coffee. A little bitter, but still an excellent blend.
Boy, you should switch to decaf.
Hello. I'm sorry to bother you, but I'm having a dinner party and I've run out of coffee.
Come in.
Thank you.
Will Gold Blend be too good for your guests?
Oh, I think they could get used to it.
It's a very sophisticated coffee.
They have very sophisticated taste.
Do they?
Yes. Well, I must be getting back.
Now, golden roasted, richer, smoother, Nescafe Gold Blend.
Have you met your new neighbor yet?
Oh, I've popped in for coffee.
Come on, Dad.
You're playing Vicky, not Andre Agassi.
Don't be so sure.
Agassi.
Hi, call me Andre.
Nescafe, Andre?
You bet. Nescafe sure is coffee at its best. That's the best thing served to me all week. Who's up for doubles?
Yeah! The best days are Nescafe days.
今結構忙しいんだろ？そういえば例の歌の歌詞はでき。
私はあなたが好き。
Days looking new and bright, and you're gonna start it right. Folgers starting to brew, the aroma's calling you. The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Mornings are brighter with mountain-grown Folgers because mountain-grown coffee has more enticing aroma than any other kind.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Please enjoy this footage of velvety smooth beans, followed by a well-shot close-up of a hot brown liquid that's brewed by mixing heated water.
All over the world, the word for great coffee flavor is Nescafe.
We're the world's favorite brand of instant coffees.
In America, Nescafe's great flavor comes two ways.
We're the world's best-selling too.
Nescafe Regular in the red label.
If Nescafe can please the whole wide world.
And now Nescafe Decaffeinated in the green label.
We can sure please you.
Same kind of flavor. Nescafe Regular, Nescafe Decaffeinated. What's your pleasure?
お嬢さん方を応接室に。
はい。
美味しいコーヒーを入れましょうかね。
I only showed you that to remind you you desperately need your fix.
We're back. So what did I miss? Back to Macross again. Yeah. I do love that well animated coffee pot in Macross. Oh! Oh, there's actually loads more chat. Yeah, I have to scroll down. Okay. Oh, those Twin Peaks ones. Yeah, yeah. I think this might be the third one, actually. There used to be some Nichijou stuff in, and every single time the stream would get not demonetized but blocked worldwide because whoever it is that owns Nichijou, the anime, would be like, "You've used 20 seconds of our anime," and they would just like, they were having none of my shit. It just blocked it worldwide.
Oh, big shame.
Zentron. Speaking of Zentron, like, I'm seeing loads. I've been busy like answering questions, and so my mind has been all over the place. But I've been seeing loads of names that I recognise popping up in chat here that I haven't seen for ages. So I recognise you all, and it's good to see you all. It's good to be back. Have I done any Brave Star art? I haven't. I didn't even watch Brave Star. I didn't even watch Brave Star, sadly. Genghis Khan says, great animations. I can't believe Genghis Khan
showed up himself out of his busy schedule of pillaging.
After taking over almost the entire world to get a compliment from Genghis Khan. Thanks. Thank you, great Khan.
There was a question above about what size team or what roles are you ready to work with?
Ooh. So I'm 45, so I should step up and actually work with a team. I know I should, but I don't have the experience, and I certainly don't have the confidence to head up a team of more than like 3 people. So for the mech film maybe, and I don't know how much we should be talking about it, but maybe get a few in-betweeners and some colorists maybe.
Again, if allowances meet the requirement to hire people, because that's really the most important thing.
Because the thing is, obviously, TIE Fighter took me 4 years to do, and that was 7 minutes long. We've been 4 years, I believe it's been 4 years on the Alien film, and that's 15 minutes coming up on 20 minutes. So I've obviously gotten faster if I've gone from 4 years makes 7 minutes to 4 years makes almost 20. But for the mech film, we're thinking full on OVA 45-minute length, so I'm gonna need some help, I would think.
Yeah.
I'm not absolutely crazy. I don't expect people to wait 8 years on me. On us. There you go, Nero Smith. Yeah, it's clean living. I just subsist purely on sandwiches and coffee. No, it doesn't. No, it's more like Alien, this film. So no pulse rifles. We're going full on with the Ridley Scott original Alien aesthetic. I too watched a stream in bed on my phone recently, and it was a fascinating experience. You can't really text because everything's too small, and it was I was like, am I really just laying in bed watching a stream? This just seems wrong. It seems like I've taken a step too far in my life. That's an interesting AI for interpolating some frames. So Mackie was saying earlier about some of the comments we got on the trailer for the Alien film, and there was this really bizarre short period of like a few days where all the comments on it were, "This looks like it's AI interpolated. Like this is just like cheating shit. Like this looks absolute crap. It's too smooth." And like weird stuff like that. It's like, it's almost like, I don't know, like people had seen, is it Noodle? His video on why 60 frames per second is shit, why AI interpolation is shit, which it is. And suddenly they would like go in everywhere thinking, you know, like the Red Scare in the 1960s or 40s, whatever, 50s. Seeing communists everywhere, and like suddenly people saw the video and they were seeing AI interpolation everywhere, and they're like, is this AI interpolated? I'm not allowed to like this because it looks AI interpolated, and it wasn't AI interpolated. So I don't know. What do you think, chat? What's going on there? Yes, I could use AI to host the live streams whilst I focus on work. Get it to like do my face, my voice.
Upload yourself to the cloud.
Yes. Yeah, why not? We're approaching those Ghost in the Shell days. Yeah, it was VTuber time. No, we did experiment a little bit with the interpolation, and I think it is genuinely useful for in-betweening for you if you're using it specifically to in-between certain things. Like there are many things that it can't in-between at all. It just, because it's artificial, it's not intelligent. It does, if a hand goes from here to here, it isn't going to know to draw the hand in the middle, so it'll just do a weird smear because it's stupid. So you'd have to fix that up yourself. So it's kind of like picking your battles. But if you've got someone breathing very subtly, it can in between that for you. And so I think you could use that to in between the lines for you, and then you shade it yourself, for instance.
Well, the weird thing about that is like AI, but tweening has been a thing in Toon Boom and other industry standard programs for a long time. The reason you might not notice it is because the people working on it should know their animation principles, so you should be able to like understand your frame timing, and whether you drew it or the program drew it, like the timing is really what's making it convincing or obvious. But also it's like, do you want people to finish it or not? Like, people need help sometimes. So I don't know. I do agree with like people have worked themselves up to a frenzy with that shit. It's the new blockchain.
Yeah.
You know?
It seemed like there was a period where everyone was just talking about interpolation. It was the hot new word for people who don't really understand what it is.
Yeah.
Nov is asking, have you ever experimented with stop motion? When I was at art college, like I said, there wasn't anything digital. It was just like a camera pointing down, and you could do some stuff on paper, or you could do some little stop motion animated characters. But what we were pissing about at one point was we went out into the grounds, like the really nice kind of green green big lawn area with trees and stuff, and what we would do is stand up and jump, and then move a step forward and jump, move a step forward and jump, and you'd film the whole thing, and this was on VHS because it wasn't digital, so you had like 2 VHS decks back in the video editing department, and you'd play both of the VHS. You'd take the top frame where you're in the air, isolate that, cut the rest of them, isolate the next one where you're in the air at the top of your jump, and then play them back, and it just looks like you're flying, like your feet never touch the ground. And so then that way it looked hilarious, and we were pissing ourselves watching it back. And so we kind of like, we did more of it, but like this time, like people pointing like this and just flying throughout the university with their legs like bent off the ground, and it looked so ridiculous. And yeah, that was me and a bunch of people experimenting with stop motion, and it was stop motion with real people, but yeah, it was incredibly funny. I was born in 1978, yes. From 79, okay. So 1 year younger than me. Mackie, what do you think about the late 1980s? What do you remember of it? Or was it just normal because that's when you were there? It was the 80s.
Sorry, repeat the question.
What did you think of the late 1980s? Did you think it was, wow, we're living in a great time for movies and music, or did you just think...
Yes, because I didn't know any better, but also late 1980s, I was like 3?
Oh, okay. Yeah, so you probably didn't think about anything except for poop in your pants and...
Yup, and watching my strawberry shortcake and my Care Bears.
And your Care Bears, yes.
And riding my Rainbow Bright bike. And I just remember... I remember hearing Gloria Stefan and who else? Just like I remember some classic Robert Palmer. I remember hearing in the living room, and my mom making me watch highly inappropriate films for like a 4-year-old, traumatizing me with stuff like Jaws.
Oh,
so
that's proper parenting, that.
Yep. So, but good times, and honestly, it just naturally like carried on where everything I love is from that time period. So those memories are great now.
Yeah, same. I at the time I thought, well, this is just how life is. Life is really good, and this is how it will continue to be. And if only I knew, I would have treasured my time in the 80s more, I think. But I definitely think I got the most out of the 90s. I was just in the arcade like all the time. How was food in the 80s? It was cheap. I mean, not a food specific example, but I used to go down to the local shopping mall type area. It was called the Forum. And they had a wine and beverage shop called Peter Dominic's, which has gone out of business now. It used to be a national chain of shops. And I'd go in there with my 22p, because that's how much a can of Coke cost, and I'd buy a can of Coke for 22p and take it back home and drink it. And now a can of Coke is over £1 in the UK. It's ridiculous. I'm not paying £1 for a can of Coke. I refuse.
Someone asked, did that make you a fan of terror movies, Mackie? You would not believe what that shit did to me, okay? Until like 5 years ago, I had such a horrible fear of getting in the ocean. And I have it a lot less, but I legit had like this thing where if I can't see, like let's say I'm walking through a field, if I can't see my feet, I start freaking out, alright? Also, I grew up next to the Everglades. Gators, snakes, all that shit is real for me. I don't know what the fuck's gonna eat me, and no, but that, like, aside from that, so it's weird. It's like, it gave me like also imagine I'm like I don't know, like 5 or 6 years old watching RoboCop and Terminator, so that shaped some of my humor a bit as well. But I don't know why I grew up terrified. I think I've told you this before. I grew up terrified of like horror, scary stuff, especially if it was like alien related.
You don't
Not the
like your
franchise.
Ayla do you?
Yeah, Ayla Mouse. Holy shit. Like, I remember I was like in high school, and someone was telling me about, I think, Fire in the Sky, and they were describing a scene to me. I'd never seen this movie. I've never seen a picture of it. They were just describing a scene to me, and my eyes watered.
We watched it together, didn't we, a few years back?
Ha ha ha, no.
Oh, I watched it with Zach.
Yeah.
That scene you're talking about is definitely the best scene in the film.
The guy was telling me, and I was like, hell the fuck no.
It's pretty fucked up.
a bit. But hey, you know, like RoboCop and Terminator, and what else did I have? Well, that was more in the 90s. I had the Mario movie, had Ninja Turtle movie, the live action, Mortal Kombat. I mean, they were all pretty good. So, yeah, I did love action films. Shit blowing up everywhere was always awesome.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit? Sorry, I saw a question and it flew away. Alright, never mind. I don't see it. Continue.
Communion, yeah, that's another Ayla Mao movie. I saw it once when I was very young. I don't really remember anything about it, but apparently Christopher Walken's in it, so...
Yeah, the Greys, absolutely not. Don't like that shit. Never liked that shit. Like, oh, I mean, I've also talked about this on stream. Unsolved Mysteries. One day randomly, I'm 7 or 8 years old, sat in right in front of, like, you remember, like, in the old school style. I mean, I don't know if in the UK it was like this, but we had like those giant spherical, no, rather cube style TV that were like as tall as an adult. That was popular where I grew up. And I'm sat right in front of there watching Unsolved Mysteries, 4 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon, unsupervised. And they do this thing where aliens come in and start surrounding the house and start like killing people. And I've never recovered.
I've become desensitized to most things. Like I'm good with all forms of horror, but I will not, and I probably shouldn't say this because if I ever get cancelled, people will just spam me with this shit. I will not watch real life footage of people getting killed. I'm not doing it. That's a step too far, and I ain't watching it. And people just post it all over Facebook, and it's like takes you by surprise sometimes. I've seen like horrible CCTV footage, and I'm like, I just saw someone die, and that's horrifying. Like, I know people die all the time, yeah, okay, but like, and people seek this shit out and watch it for entertainment, like gory cartel videos of people getting killed with like saws and hammers and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah, but that was the beginning of the internet too. Like,
yeah, but I was there for the beginning of the internet, and I never wanted to see anything like that.
Oh well, I mean, there were things that I saw I didn't choose to see. It got linked to me, and I didn't know what the hell was gonna happen. But you know, there was shit like that too. I guess maybe it was a little bit different because you'd have to wait to go to school to like comment on it, and now people just leave likes on like beheading videos or whatever.
Like chat is agreeing with us, but yeah, I feel like a part of your soul dies almost when you see something like that, and like the more of it you see, the more desensitized you'd get to it. And I think there are some things that we just should not be desensitized to. Unless you're in a war or something, in which case it's unavoidable. But like there's so much high quality gore in horror movies that we don't really need to seek out that shit.
Yeah, there's that, or the outhouse scene in X-Files. Do you remember that? Where the guy went to an outhouse out in the country and he sat down to poop or something, and then a monster suddenly came from inside the toilet and killed him.
I don't remember that one.
That has stuck with me since I was a child as well.
It's given you deep-rooted poop trauma, has it?
Well, once again, I live next to the Everglades, okay? Like, rumors about, like, snakes crawling up your toilet was real.
There's a German word for that. Das Puppentrauma. There isn't. I just made that up. My German's really good, chat. Oh, the dogs which piss fire. So, for ages, no one believed me that there's a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and I swore that I remembered at the start of the movie a dog pissing fire, and everyone was like, AD here was like, no, that's bullshit, that's never gonna happen, like, you've just misremembered it, you've made it up. And Ben didn't believe me, and Rick didn't believe me, and we were watching the Nightmare on Elm Street films sometime, and number 5 or 6 comes along, a dog just walks up and pisses fire, and I was like, you fucking see? I was right all along. The dogs do piss fire. If there's one thing to take away from this stream, chat, the dogs do piss fire, alright? They do. Justified. I felt completely justified at that point. You see, the gory scenes in Akira, I can't even be disturbed by them because I'm just like, holy shit, look at that animation, and I'm playing it frame by frame and like, that's ridiculous. How did they even, what references were they looking at to get this detail? Oh, I'm telling you, it was one of the greatest moments of my life. To finally be proven correct. It's not very often that I'm proven correct, chat. I'm mostly wrong. Alright, chat. The coffee. I've got a quarter of the coffee left, and I think we're going to end the stream after that, so if you got any questions, if you want to think up any questions, now's the time. Now's the time.
Or tell me a fun fact.
Whoa! Jeffrey Blasmeyer just subscribed, thank you. What was that, Mackie? That a TIE fighter screamed over the top of your voice.
Oh, I have a delay on mine. No, or if you don't have a question, tell me a fun fact, because I like learning.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me your deepest secrets and desires.
Okay, you heard her. Which do you prefer, Armored Core 6 or Starfield? Well, I've not played either, and I hear from a number of videos that Starfield is a classic Bethesda complete mess. So I'm pretty sure Armored Core would be my choice there. When's the next animation stream happening? So the problem with this Alien film has been I don't really want to stream me animating and colouring the alien because it's just too many spoilers. But all I've been doing is alien shots for like the past few months, so there hasn't been any material to stream if you catch my drift.
Or sometimes he doesn't like, because it's hard to draw in front of people, and especially draw in front of people and like have a conversation. So coloring is a lot easier to keep up.
Yeah.
With that, but if you don't have anything to color, it's like, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
Now, chat, tell me about that embarrassing thing you did in first grade. Don't be shy. Anyway, have you ever wanted to animate a comedy?
I want to animate Jury and Cammy going on comedy adventures. Shopping and shit, you know, going to restaurants. No, can I write a comedy? Probably not.
That would be like a huge accomplishment to me, because that's like the toughest. I think in a weird way, comedy maybe a tiny bit harder than doing something actually scary. I'm not sure, but either one, like when I was in animation class, I had one project I did. It was actually funny. Me and the professor were like cracking up, and he's like, all right, just finish it. It was like timing slapstick. He's like, just finish it and show it to class tomorrow. And I was like, yes, it's gonna be so awesome. I can't believe I did this. I did it all night, all done by hand. Showed up, scanned it, put it up, and for some reason when it compiled, the timing of one character was completely off from the rest of them. And like the defeat that I felt after, I think it was saying like 340 frames.
You gotta check those renders. You have to.
I've been chasing that high ever since.
Something always goes wrong every time.
Yup.
We have a donation, but it didn't show up on the stream. From Luke, will anime get better? Will it go back to 80s level? I mean, I hope so. I sincerely hope so. Some people would argue that it's actually better now. Those people, I think, would be wrong. But you know, I can't argue with. Oh, there you go. Yeah, but I mean, I can't argue with the quality of Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer and Chainsaw Man. You know, they do look good. They do look very good, and they have shading as well. So yeah. Does Maki work on the Alien movie too? Maki, what do you do on the Alien movie?
Oh, I thought you would answer that. It sounds more legit if you say it.
Maki does a shit ton of stuff, actually. So every scene that I do on the Alien movie, we collaborate on every scene, from like the initial setup of the shots to the keyframes. Like the keyframes especially is where Maki comes in. Like she'll often, because I'm not good at character animation, and there's so much character animation in this, and so Maki will go over certain frames and redraw them to make them better, especially faces, timing of animation, like adding in holds and things like that. And I mean, Maki designed the character actually, so like,
well, it's always been tough because it's like this weird, there's nothing like straightforward. Like for example, I did do the character design, but it's like he did the outfit design. Or
it's
usually
a collaboration then, I guess.
Yeah, it's a big collaboration. So a lot of times he'll show me something. What do you think of this? And I'll go, well, I would do it this way and blah blah blah. And then we discuss, does it look better this way? And that's kind of been the process through a lot of it. Even the script, and I mean, I did, and I'm really grateful to have that chance. I did get to direct the Alien trailer that's out on this channel.
Yeah.
And that for me was like a first, but I had a lot of fun doing it. So every little, like everything I can get involved in just feels like a really cool experience / learning opportunity for me. So I like working on everything.
So yeah, basically she's involved in every scene, every shot of the film. So it's tricky because obviously I kind of, from TIE Fighter and R-Type, I've kind of developed a bit of a reputation of being like one-man animation machine, and it isn't really like that anymore. But it's like, how do you have to give credit. You have to, like, it's only fair. But how do I get it out there to people?
Yeah, it's like Maki drew this hand, frame 195.
Yeah. Like that. How do I get it out there to people that you're actually involved with every step of the process, without making them annoyed? Like, yeah, we've heard this before, kind of thing. Like, You know what I mean?
Tough. Yeah, because also I did a lot of pre-production stuff, and then the main production stuff is a lot like, or I'll give something like, I'll say like, oh, this would be more impactful if like the frames lasted longer on this moment, or let's have the eyes shake on this part so the character feels like more relatable to like what's going on in the scene.
Yeah. So co-animator and co-producer, like these are all things that we've been thinking about, and they're obviously going to go in the end credits. But I mean, like during the 4 years of production, though, like how do I let people know? Because I mean, it would suck if you were working on something alongside like an established animator, and you're working on it too, and the animator, because they're kind of known, they're just getting all the credit for it, even though you did work on it. You'd be pissed, wouldn't you? And yeah, so like how do
I think I need to do like a compilation video that just shows clips of like things that I was involved in, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
something like that. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird. Like, it's like I know what it's called in other fields. Like I would be called a layout artist in other things, or an editor if it was manga, or but yeah, I don't know.
Definitely co-director.
Oh, I see. The secrets have been unleashed. How juicy.
What secrets? What secrets are we looking at here?
Zentron almost died, apparently.
Why? How?
And Rocket Health was a horrible child to his teacher. I'm kidding. I haven't read the whole thing.
Oh, falling off a small cliff. Okay, that kind of sucks. Well, what do you want to do? We could call it an evening. We've done a goodly amount of time, a reasonable amount of time for a stream, perhaps. Cosplay as Megatron. I mean, there's a band, Cybertronic Spree, that cosplay as Transformers whilst playing instruments, which is kind of impressive, and they're quite good as well.
Are you gonna do anything for Halloween?
I am going to a friend's Halloween party where many other people I know will be, and I'm going to get very, very drunk.
Are you gonna dress up?
No, I'll just dress as myself. Whoa! Thank you, Blake, for 10 buckaroos. Can't express enough how much I appreciate your work and your passion for animation from the 80s and 90s. Keep up the great work. Thanks. Thank you very much, I will. I'll spend that $10 on a pizza to keep me fueled and working. For some reason it's delayed. It should show up any moment though.
Okay, I still think missed opportunity. You should dress up. I was gonna say, what's a prominent figure this year you should dress up as? And I was gonna say Jeffrey Dahmer, but maybe not a great idea. Sorry, because everyone was obsessed with that Netflix thing that came out. There you go, sexy animator.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'll get it from Spirit Halloween. See, I know so much about America. I just drop these American store names. And everyone's like, wow, this guy's so American.
Well, you're going to be in America.
I will be in America. Derek Riggs? Who's Derek Riggs?
Yeah.
Just was Andrew Tate. I'm not shaving. I'm not shaving my head. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. What if you get your arms and legs blown off and you're alive, but you're kind of like, I don't feel stronger.
God, oh, that reminds me. I
There
watched.
we go. There we go. Anyway, you were saying?
No, that I finally watched. I mentioned to you yesterday. I finally watched the recent Mortal Kombat fatalities.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, they were so like extra.
Again, like I'm not, because it's CG, so I'm like it's not real, so I can just appreciate it. But I did hear NetherRealm Studios, who make the game, this was a few years ago, that they got into a bit of a wow, what a shitty place to work kind of situation, because they had their there we go. They had their modelers looking at, folders worth of real life gore and injury photos as reference.
You can tell.
You can tell, yeah.
Yeah.
And on one hand, I'm like, that kind of sucks that you're traumatizing your.
It's just as bad as like being a Facebook moderator.
You've really got to tell them up front. By the way, you're going to be looking at extreme medical levels of gore. Like, you've got to tell them up front.
Yeah.
But then on the other hand, how else are you going to do these things? Like, everyone uses reference, and if you're making gory finishing moves, you're probably going to need to look at what actual guts look like.
I don't know. I just remember Mortal Kombat trilogy. Efficient enough, and it was funny.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Oh, it's the guy who did Iron Maiden covers. Did he do The X Factor? That's a very nice cover. I think it's a model, actually. That was the first album with Blaze Bayley after Bruce left for a bit. Andrew Tate. Yeah, it's a bit tricky. Imagine, like, there's going to be some more Andrew Tates in the world who are called Andrew Tate, and now their names are ruined. Imagine all the Hitlers. I bet there's a lot of Hitlers. Seriously though, like, there's going to be. It was a fairly common name. There's going to be a lot of Hitlers, and like every single one of them is just going to be like, holy fuck! I've got to change my name. I have to change it immediately.
Yup.
Probably not anymore. Yeah, I imagine they've probably all changed their names. But yeah, there we go. Shall we, now that we've talked about Hitler, shall we call it a stream? We've ended it on a high point.
Well, it's Friday night. It's still early enough on the east coast of the US. So I hope you guys have some fun plans in store.
Mm-hmm.
And really appreciate you guys joining us. And have a great night.
It's been fun. Thanks for stopping by, Chicago. And we'll see you next stream, whenever that may be. In the meantime, Patreon. In the meantime, Patreon. Keep the lights on. Thanks. I appreciate it. And I guess that's that.
Till next time.
Bye, chat.